Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this cute little good luck treat using the Amazing Life stamp set that you can find in the Occasions catalog. So let me set this aside and we'll get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to need is our everyday label punch and a piece of cardstock that measures 2 3/4 by 1.5 inches. And let me see if I can slide this in quickly on the camera. So I'm going to take that piece of Whisper White cardstock and slide it in, and I'm going to line it up with the edge of the punch and just punch down. And as you can see, I don't have it in the normal way. I've started from the top and threaded it through. And I'm going to punch, and that gives me this fun little edge that I'm going to use for the tag that I'm creating. I am going to take my tuxedo black ink pad and I am going to stamp the good luck here on my tag. And then I'm also going to stamp this little clover onto a scrap of Whisper White cardstock. And I can put my ink away now and bring in my Call Me Clover blends, and I am going to use my light blends in order to color this in. So bear with me. I'm going to use a solid flare tip end and just quickly color it in all the way. And then I'm going to also color in the word luck. And of course you can use your Stampin' Blends to clean this up and fix it if you go out of the lines. And I'm going to cap that and then bring in the bullet point on my dark blends, and I'm simply going to run it around the edge of the clover following the lines. There we go, to add a dark shade. And I am going to punch the clover out with my 1-inch circle punch, and now I'm ready to start assembling. So I'm going to bring in a piece of my Designer Series paper. This happens to measure 2 by 6 inches, and one of our mints. And I like to add a glue dot to the inside of this simply to hold the candy a little bit so that it doesn't wiggle around. And I'm going to put that in and wrap this in half before I decide where it's going to go. Line it up and then kind of press it in place by picking this up, trying not to smash the mint candy, of course. And then I'm going to fold this back over and take my tag and just a mini stapler, and I'm going to staple that tag in place. And then I'm going to measure about 5 inches of the mini sequin trim. I love this. It's so great to use on little projects to add a little bling. And I thought for St. Patty's Day this little mini sequin gold would be fun, and I am going to add that also to it with a glue dot. And you might be wondering what this ribbon is on my mini glue dot roll. I use that to hold the protective paper in place, and that way I can just pull it down and the ribbon holds the rest of it in place. So I've added the glue dot to this, and I'm going to tack that in place. And then I'm going to take my clover on my 1-inch circle, add a dimensional on the back, and this will also hold that sequin trim in place, and tack that over the staple and the gold trim. So let me show you the original again. If you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Ginny. Thanks for joining me.